I haven't watched the film Coraline since I was a kid, but recently it was in theaters and I remember my husband and I going to see it and me just rambling the entire car ride home with all of my thoughts and theories about this movie. And if my poor husband had to hear it, I feel like you guys should hear my rambles as well. Hey y'all, welcome in. If you're new here, my name is Morgan and we do a lot of spooky stuff here. So we talk about scary movies, obviously that's what we're doing today. Spoiler alert, I think Coraline's a scary movie, okay? Not just a kid's movie, but we will get into that. But here we do a little bit of that. I read scary stories that you guys send in to me. I tell some of my own personal experiences. We talk about Appalachian folklore and we're gonna be talking about scary books here soon. So it's a fun time and if that sounds really fun, I'd love to have you here. I'm obviously on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok and Patreon. All of that will be linked below. And like I mentioned prior, I do read scary stories that you guys send in to me. So please find that email below to send in your stories and just put YouTube in the subject line. But now that we got all of that out of the way, let me just get into my rant about Coraline. Now I will say I did write down some key notes, but this is all just going to be coming from my brain. So it's going to be a jumbled mess. But I promise it'll make sense, okay? To start off, I want to go ahead and get the facts out of the way. The fact of the matter is this is a stop motion claymation. I understand that. I understand that it's rated PG. And I understand that it is widely acceptable to let your kids watch this. This is a kid's movie. I understand. I have counterpoints though, okay? From someone who watched this at a very young age, I feel like I can bring a unique perspective into the conversation. So let's get into it. So Coraline, like I said, is a stop motion claymation film that was released in 2009 and it is not a Tim Burton movie, which really bothers me. I feel like I remember it being Tim Burton. I don't know if that's some sort of Mandela effect or if it just really fits his style, but I feel like I remember it being a Tim Burton movie. Am I the only one? There's another movie like that that's not Tim Burton that really bothers me. And I can't remember what it is. But there is another one like that. I'll probably randomly think of it in the video and just randomly scream it. But do you guys remember that being Tim Burton? So in the film Coraline, it centers around, of course, a little girl named Coraline who moves into a set of apartments with her two parents that is called the Pink Palace Apartments. Things are sketchy in the Pink Palace. She makes a friend that doesn't live in the apartments, but his grandmother is the landlord. And he makes little cryptic comments about, oh, my grandma doesn't usually rent to families with kids. She doesn't let kids in there. Red flag. And we start to see right off the bat that Coraline's parents are pretty neglectful. They don't really give her a lot of attention, don't really care about her needs or wants. And we see eventually that she just gets fed up and wants to explore around the house. Ends up finding this key, finding a little hidden door, going through the hidden door and going into a mirrored reality where everything is so much better. Her parents are there, but they're so kind and attentive to her. Her friend is there, but he doesn't talk quite as much anymore. The neighbors are cooler. Everything is just better. But not all is what it seems, and if Coraline wants to stay there, she may have to pay a hefty price that I don't know if anyone would be willing to pay. And I do recommend this movie, if you haven't already seen it. It is one of my favorites. I forgot how incredible it was until I saw it recently, and it's great. It's really great. So let's get into my points. This movie is horrific. I don't care if it's meant for kids, if it's a claymation, I don't care. I don't think it's really a kid's movie. I think it's just more maybe a teen movie. I remember my aunt taking me to the movies to see it. My cousin, which was her daughter, and myself were obsessed with Tim Burton-esque movies again, which is why I think this was a Tim Burton movie. Is this a Mandela effect? I don't know. But anyways, I remember her taking me to the movies to see it. My cousin was a little bit older, and I remember seeing this in theaters, and specifically that one scene where the beldam is in a spider. She's like in her spider era and she's in the web, and I remember my eyes tearing up because it scared me so bad. It horrified me. And I liked scary movies. I watched The Exorcist when I was really young. Like, I was fine with scary movies, but I'm not fine when I'm not prepared mentally for a scary movie and I'm caught off guard and now I'm having nightmares. I think the fact that the other mother, the beldam, has killed children is glossed over. That fact is just glossed over. There are murdered children in this children's movie, okay? Not only did she kill them, she took their eyes out, sewed buttons over them, and then hid the eyes so that they couldn't be free, so their souls couldn't move on. I'm sorry. Bluey would never. And so we just see Coraline get thrown into this room at one point, and these little ghost children just float out, and they're like, find our eyes. Also, child, this now rests upon you. I would have a panic attack and join them. I really would. And so, like I've said before, the other mother is the beldam, which is a sorceress that takes children. Like, that is literally her entire thing. She is there to take the children. She is there to trick the children into her other little world, to agree to her little terms and conditions to give up their eyes for buttons, and then she takes their souls. Who? I remember coming home after watching this movie as an 11-year-old, and the beldam was living in my damn walls until proven otherwise. I was so scared. So do I think kids should not watch this movie ever? That's not what I'm saying. But market it as a freaking scary movie so that people aren't caught off guard watching it. Like, if I had kids, would I show them this? 1,000%. Yes. But I would tell them that it's scary. I would tell them that it's scary. You know, another movie that's kind of like that? Monster House. Like, it's a little bit more on the funny side. Coraline just gives low vibrations because, like, she's neglected and it's just sad, and it's just a lot of low vibrations. Monster House is at least funny a little bit before it hits you with the low vibrations of this man's tragic past with his wife. I could do a video on Monster House too. I have a lot of things to say. Anyways, that is all. Thank you guys for listening to my little ramble. That was fun. Should I do more little like ranty videos about movies? I'm so down for that. This was a blast. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Go watch Coraline if you haven't seen it.